Hello, my name is Jenny Veal and I'm the Student Life Coordinator with the English Language Center. And today we have an amazing guest speaker, James from the RBC, who's going to be doing a small workshop on Budgeting 101. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to James.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be presenting this presentation to you today on Budgeting 101. A little bit about myself. My name is James D'Souza, and I'm the Assistant Branch Manager Advisor at RBC on campus here in the Agora at LU Campus. We're actually physically right in the Agora, and that's what I just want to explain why I'm wearing the mask. I'm sticking with PPE guidelines since I am on campus and in an open area, and that's why I'm wearing the mask. So I really want to let everyone know on campus, we're here to be there for students if they have questions, concern on any type of financial advice that they may need. So even if you don't bank with RBC or you're not looking for any type of bank products, we're really here just to advise. And we do regular advice events. Please feel free to reach out to myself or my colleague, Alex Martens. We have a new colleague starting as well this week, Kyle, although he won't really be available for any type of appointments for the next month or so. Without further ado, I want to get started. Before my role here on campus at Lakehead, I was in the roles of banking advisor and financial advisor at RBC for the last over 9 years. And really, when I gave advice to my clients, the cornerstone for all the financial advice that I gave them started with a solid, good budget. A budget is really your financial foundation for the rest of your life. So presenting this to you now is so timely because you're so young. If you get a budget down pat now and make that part of your everyday life, then really you're setting yourself up for success. So let's get right into the presentation. Today we're going to talk about a number of different things. We're going to look at what a budget is. We're going to talk about money, what money can be used for, how to create your own budget effectively for you, and how you can actually save money while you're in school. Often I know school is a time when an individual has a lot of costs coming in, everything from tuition to living expenses. So it could be a hard time for you to think, how am I going to save? But really, we're going to talk about how to be effective. Maybe you are someone that is using credit to help finance a portion or all of your school, but that doesn't mean that you can still work within the constraints of a budget to help you so that when you do graduate, you have less debt or debt that's more manageable, let's say. So we're going to go through all these factors today, and some of them might seem like you would already know what a budget is or money, but this gets a little bit more granular for you, okay? Uh, Essentially, in terms of what a budget is it's a tool that helps you track and manage your money. It looks at the money that's coming in, then it looks at the money that's going out. So the money coming in is your income, the money going out are your expenses. It looks at how much money you are able to spend, looking at those two numbers, and then it allows you to see how much money that you can save in any given day, week, or month. And we're going to talk about what you do with your savings. Perhaps it's for goals, perhaps it's for a rainy day. There are many different reasons, but we'll go over some of those factors today. A lot of people wonder, why is a budget important to me? Especially when you're a student, you might be thinking, I'm so young, really, why is it something that I need to look at? Well, because we know that when people live within their budgets in their life, they have lives that are less stressful. They have a handle on their financial situation. They know what's coming in and out and that they can afford to pay the bills. And they can prioritize and make smarter decisions, which allows them to stay focused. So if you don't have to worry about money issues in your life, you can stay focused on things that matter, like your education, like your career, like your personal relationships in your life. That frees up your time and your mental well-being, not having to worry about money to be able to put into the personal side of your life. Also, it allows you to reach your financial goals. So it helps you to set goals and achieve those goals within time frames that work for you and your life. Inversely, people that live over budgets find that they have much more stress in their lives. Of course, they don't have a handle on their financial situation because they're living in the negative. They're often overspending and going into unnecessary debt. And when that happens, often you can see yourself using credit and debt to to really pay for your lifestyle because you have no money to do it, which can then in turn get you more and more into debt. And that can lead to things like unnecessary and expensive bank fees. And often you're using revolving credit like credit cards. So the interest rates are super duper high for you. Very much not a good place for you to be in living your everyday life when you're in over budget. So that's why it's important to get a handle on it. Firstly, we're going to look at a few different things. Now, we're going to look at where your money comes from. We're going to look at where your money is going. And we're also going to look at where you want your money to go. So the first thing we talk about, where does money come from? We're really talking about your income, what's going into your bank account. And income can be a lot of different things. A lot of people think right away, full or part-time income, or maybe they have a gig job like Uber, but it can also come from things like scholarships and grants and RESPs. This is a list of general ideas of where money could come from. Some of these may relate to your personal situation, some may not. But really what this list is here to do is it's here to make you think about your own bank account. What's going into your bank account? Write that down so that you can start the first step of your budget, and that is your income coming in. Your first part of your spreadsheet of your budget. What do I have coming in? What's my personal income? And this list is here to help you look at that. It could even be things like birthday money, right? The next thing you're going to look at, where does my money go? So now you've really gone in deep with your bank account, looked at your account history, seen where your money comes in, how your income comes in, and you got to look at, where does my money go? So these things, guys, are definitely your expenses. I want that to be clear. And when I say expenses, it's really things you need. So rent, tuition, books, food, maybe it's subscriptions for entertainment, groceries and transit passes. Some of this may relate to you, some of it may not. What this is meant to do is it's meant for you to look at your own bank and jog your memory as to, okay, what do I actually need to spend my money on, and where does my money go to make those purchases? How much am I spending? How often am I spending it? So really go in deep, look at your bank account statement, and look at where your money goes. Tailor this budget to you as much as possible. The more tailored your budget is, the more effort you put into the budget, the more it's going to give back to you, okay? Now, once you have those two parcels of data ready, where your money is coming in, what's coming in, where your money is going, where it's going, you're going to want to look at, where do you want your money to go? This is a little different. This isn't where is your money going, but it's where you want to make your money go. So this is your goals. Everyone has different goals. For some people, it could be a spring break. It might be a down payment for a home. It might be something simple like a girls' night out. But what's nice is it's specific to you. You can decide where you want your money to go, what your personal goals are. So now you have the three main raw components of a budget, and that's your income, money coming in, your expenses, your money going out, and your goals, where you want your money to go. Now that you've compiled those, you really have everything you need in order to start your budget. The first thing you have to do is, you have a really big, giant, broad list of the income, expenses, and goals for your money. What you need to do now is look at the actual dates that the money's coming in, that the money's going out, and when you want to achieve your goals by. So start looking at those statements. Start looking at the raw data and say, okay, when is my income coming in? What are the specific dates? Is it regular income that comes in bi-weekly from a part-time job? Is it maybe money from an RESP that your parents have set up for you that they give to you annually or per term? Or maybe it's a student loan from a bank or a government loan. And you could say, when does it come in? Do I get it once a year? Do I get it twice a year? Monthly, bi-weekly? And you can really also look at your expenses. My rent, do I pay my rent every month, or do I pay it lump sum at the start of the year? How about my tuition and school books? Is it separated into twice a year or once a year? Get granular and really write down the dates the money's coming in and out, and write down the dates that you'd like to achieve your goals by. So now you're really beginning the framework for your budget. And with that said, you're able to start filling out your budget. This is an example of a budget tracker. This has all the components of what a budget would have. Feel free to just use this as a guideline. You don't have to use this specific one, but if you really like this specific one, then by all means use it. Budgets are most effective when they're done by month, or maybe people like to do it bi-weekly or weekly, but monthly is really a great way to look at a great snapshot because it's often enough, but not too often. Very simple. You could see the income coming in, a description of the income, the amount that income is, the deposit date, and the frequency. You can also add extra notes. Then look at the expenses. The expenses have a description, dollar amount, due date, frequency, and any extra notes you may need. And really, a budget is that simple. It's your income coming in minus your expenses. And then you have what's left over. Now, guys, there is a mistake on this budget tracker I want to talk to you about. It says total expenses minus total income. Really, it should be total income minus total expenses and then a balance. So what this tells you is if you write all of your income down in, let's say, any given month, let's use March, okay? So let's say the month of March this year, you put in all your income that's coming in, the dates it's coming in, all your notes, all the expenses, all the dates it's coming in, the amounts, and any notes. And if you find that you're in the positive after you take away the expenses from the income, then that means that you have money left over and you have money that you can carry forward for your goals or for long-term savings. If you're in the negative, then we're going to come to that a little later in the presentation. But if you're in the negative, it means that you don't have enough money to pay the expenses that you have, okay? And it means that you need to reflect. So this is a great example of a great budget. At the bottom, what's nice with this too is they've added your goals. So you can actually list your goals if you have money left over. Put certain amounts of money, whatever you feel like you should put to each goal, the contribution, and then what's remaining in terms of savings. So I love that they add goals into this too, because it's really making you think about working towards something, which makes the budget more effective overall. So as said earlier, you do your budget tracker, you find out you're going to operate in the negative. Scary thought. You could look at the picture here. Help. It's a great word to say what happens. Remember, you're doing this budget looking forward. So the fact that you're in the negative means that it's a good thing. A lot of people get scared about that. No, it's good. It's making you aware of the fact that you will be in the negative. So you can make changes now to help alleviate that situation happening later. Okay. And often people are like, well, what do I do if I notice I'm going to be in the negative in the month of March? What's going to happen? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at your expenses. So you're going to look at cutting your expenses and figuring out to lessen that so that you will go into the positive. So you're going to identify your essentials. You're really going to look at what you've put for expenses and say, now, is this something that I need? Or is this something that I want? Should it be more of a goal? So for example, I need to live somewhere. I need a roof over my head. So you have to pay rent. Rent is a need. You can't go without rent because you need a place to live to survive. However, maybe going out to dinner with friends every Friday, maybe you have that as an essential in your budget, when in reality, that's a goal. That's something that you don't necessarily need. Maybe it's getting Starbucks coffee. You know, for a lot of people, Starbucks coffee might be a need. For me, it's a goal that I incorporate into my budget because I like Starbucks just like everyone else. But if it's something that I can't afford, then it's something that's going to come out of my budget and allow me to live within my budget. So really identify the essentials and cut back on your expenses. It's going to tell you you don't really need that to survive, so cut it out, which will then in turn lessen the amount that you're spending. Other things to do to save money: spend smarter, show your student card for discounts, use savings apps. Maybe you share a Netflix subscription, but also take advantage of discounts. RBC has certain offers on our RBCX Music and RBC offer sites if you're a client. If not, you may look for different deals at certain stores or financial institution that you're at. There's a lot of ways to look to cut corners and save money in your budget. Lastly, you might want to look at buying secondhand as a way to save money. So now you've really reflected and you've looked at everything and you said, okay, I'm in the negative, but I'm going to do all these things to save money so that my expenses are less and hopefully I go in the positive. And a lot of the time that will bring you into a positive cash flow and you're on the correct path for success. However, in some cases, it's still not enough and you may still be in the negative. If that happens, then you have to find more money. Okay. And what that means is maybe it's applying for scholarships or finding a job. Maybe if you do have some money saved up somewhere, you could invest it and look at different savings options to save more. Maybe you're lucky enough to ask a parent, or maybe lastly, you need to engage a financial advisor, someone like Alex or I, who can review a budget with you and really help you to look at ways to bring more money in so that you can put yourself in a positive cash flow for your budget. Cash flow is so important. I'm just going to stop for a moment here. Often I talk about cash flow in my old roles at RBC to clients. Budget is the foundation. And the reason you want a strong budget is because it allows you to have a positive cash flow. And an analogy I always use for this is a car driving down a road. So you're the car and you're driving down the road and your destination of where you're driving to is your goal. Okay? Your cash flow is the gas in the tank of that car. If you're in a positive cash flow due to having a strong budget, then you have enough gas in your car to drive you to that destination, which is your goal. You're going somewhere. If you do not have enough gas in the car, then you're operating in a negative. That means that your tank is empty and you're going nowhere. You're going backwards. So, especially if you're using debt to help, pay for your lifestyle. So really, the foundation is cash flow. So if you're in the negative, look at ways to save. If that's not enough, find ways to find more money. Still not enough, engage a financial advisor to review for you. Okay? Now, I talked a lot about the budget and how making the budget specific to you is very important. So really tailoring the budget to how you live your lifestyle is what makes for an effective budget. What you put in is what you get out. But with that said, good budgets have a lot of similar qualities. And some of those qualities are a slush fund. Every good budget has a slush fund. And what that is, it's about 1% of your income that you're saving for unplanned expenses, those oops moments. I always think of when I dropped my cell phone in a sink of water and my contract wasn't over. So I had to do an upgrade that I wasn't expecting to spend money on. Luckily, I had a small slush fund available to me so that I could pay for that. So a slush fund's for those things that you have to pay for that you weren't expecting and you really don't want to pay for, but they come up. And I would even say it says 1% on here. Think of even 3 or 4%, just to be on the safe side. The other big thing is a savings goal. Whether it's big or small, it's really important that you have a goal to work towards. So some people can just naturally save and maybe saving for a specific thing. Maybe it's a down payment. Maybe it's more retirement or more long term. But if you aren't someone who can just do that on their own and need more of a structure, have a goal, set yourself up a goal. Maybe the goal is having enough to be able to graduate without any debt. Maybe the goal is to have as minimal amount of debt as you can when you graduate so it's easier to pay off. Maybe the goal is to save up for a car after graduation or to begin towards the process of saving up for a down payment on a home. Whatever it is, having that goal gives you a reason and a purpose to keep going. So it's very important. And lastly, don't get into the habit of making your income equal your expenses. So what I mean of there, remember when I used the car analogy? What I'm basically saying is if the money coming in that you're getting from income is equal to the money going out for expenses and you have nothing left over, so you're kind of operating at a zero every month, like you're not going into debt, but you're not saving, that's not good. It means that you're in a car, you're driving the car, but the car's not moving, right? So don't have a budget that has a zero in it every month. Make sure that you're setting yourself up success so that you're in positive cash flow so you can save towards goals. The next few slides are just talking really to staying on track with your budget. Don't ghost your budget. Don't forget about your budget. Always make it top of mind and even plan for yourself. Maybe say, I'm going to review my budget every single month, and as I review my budget, I'm going to set a date for that, a date and a time so that you know that is your budget planning date and your budget planning time. It means that you're putting yourself first and you're putting that time ahead of anything else so that it's not something that will fall into the background, you'll forget about, or you'll get too busy to do. Don't abandon your budget. It's really easy to get off budget. I know for myself, I might have a day where I go out with friends. This is probably more pre-COVID. And I might be shopping and I might spend a lot more than I thought I should, or I go on a trip and I often spend a lot more on a trip that I had budgeted for. That happens in everyone's life. Everyone sways off course from time to time. The most important thing is that you come back to it. You realize what you've done and you create strategic changes within your budget to make up for those mistakes. And lastly, don't ignore your budget. There's a lot of noise that can happen for people. It could be deals coming up on your phone, 2-for-1 offers, friends asking you to go skiing or do an extracurricular activity. It's fine to do those things, but make sure they're things that you've provided for in your budget. And if you haven't, then it might be something that you need to pass up on. So don't ignore it, because I know a lot of the times the noise and excitement of doing other things that maybe cost money might get in the way of that. And here's the thing, there's a lot of great things that you can do where you don't necessarily have to spend any money or a lot of money and still be social and have a great time with your friends. So just always be cognizant of that. The next section we're going to talk about are ways that you can effectively track your budget and keep your budget top of mind by being strategic in the way that you bank, okay? There's different types of budget tools that you can use. You could use an Excel spreadsheets and create your own. You could use the budget tracker that we had today in the presentation, or you could change that tracker to make it more tailored to yourself. You can use an app. Feel free to search the App Store on your iPhone or Android, and there's some great options on there. As well, you could just use a simple calculator. RBC has a great budget calculator on our website, and it goes into pretty granular detail, and it's great to use. So if you need that, just go onto the RBC site and look for the budget tracker there, okay? Now, this RBC student budget calculator that's on the screen is a great budget calculator. However, don't use this as your budget. This is strictly for looking at an annual snapshot. An effective budget really does need to be monthly. And the reason for that is you could use this RBC student budget calculator and say, okay, I know I need $20,000 each year to be able to pay for all of my expenses. But that's just looking at it over a year, which isn't effective. You need to go month by month to see, do I have enough each month? Because perhaps some of that money isn't coming all at the start of the year, or it does come all at the start of the year, but you aren't budgeting month by month to make sure you have enough for the end of the year when maybe all the money's depleted to pay for those last few months. So what the budget calculator does is it keeps you on top of things month by month so that you don't get yourself into sticky situations where maybe there might be a time frame that you don't have money to pay all the bills. This calculator, the student budget calculator, it's more effective for figuring out what you might need in a student credit line to meet all your costs over the year. But don't use this as an actual budget. This is just a tool to support the budget. If you want an actual budget, there is one on the RBC website, or like I said, feel free to utilize one or make your own. There's a lot of great ways to monitor your money through your financial institution. You can set up alerts, and alerts can be things like letting you know if your bank account balance drops under $500, or letting you know every time your account is credited or debited. It's just keeping your banking top of mind for you. Another thing is Know Me Insights. Now, alerts you can pretty much set up with most financial institutions, but when we talk about Know Me Insights, that's specific to RBC. What Know Me Insights is it's artificial intelligence, AI, that RBC uses, and it looks at your spending habits, and Know Me will tell you if you're overspending more than what you normally would on a certain area. So I always find that Know Me comes to visit me and message me when I'm on vacation, pre-COVID, of course. When I'd be on vacation with friends, shopping, having a great time, I'd get a message from Know Me saying, you are 35% over your regular spending on clothes, or something like that. And I would talk to Know Me as if it was a human being and say, yeah, I know that I'm on vacation. But what it does is it really just makes you cognizant of the fact that you are maybe overspending in a certain area. But again, that is just for RBC clients, okay? The other thing is just being enrolled in online and mobile banking. If you're in online and mobile, and you make it a regular habit to check your online banking more frequently, and maybe it's weekly, maybe for some people it's more effective every second day or every day. It just allows you again to keep your banking top of mind and see where you're at in terms of your cash flow, what's coming in and out. Just be more informed about your finances. We're going to look next at ways to save. So to really save effectively, some people, like I said earlier, they love to save, and it's something that may come naturally to them. For me, it's not. I'm someone that really needs to pay myself first. So when I talk about that, I'm talking about automatic transfers. You can see I'm jumping to the second one, but when I get paid, I make sure that I invest my money right away, pay myself first into savings accounts, long-term and short-term saving, to make sure that I don't even have that money to be able to spend. And for me, setting those automatic transfers, it forces my hand to make sure that I'm getting in the habit of doing that. And then it lets me know what I have left over to spend. And it helps me budget more on a bi-weekly basis. The other thing is setting an intention. I talked about that. So that could be setting a goal or setting an intention and a timeline for your goal. When you do that, it gives you purpose. I said this earlier, it gives you purpose to go where you want to go. And lastly, the last one is, again, RBC clients, the Know Me, Find, and Save. That's, again, using AI. And I talked about Know Me Insights. What Know Me, Find, and Save does is it looks at how much money you normally spend, and it looks at what's in your account and coming in your cash flow, and it actually takes money out of your account on its own and puts it into a savings account for you. So that literally forces your hand. It actually literally takes money out of your account and puts it in for you, because it knows how much you're going to need to spend, because it looks at your spending habits. So very, very interesting how technology can really assist you in terms of staying within a budget. Again, Know Me, Find, and Save is just for RBC clients. It's RBC specific, okay? Lastly, we're coming to the end here, but know that I'm here for you. Alex is here for you. RBC is here for you. Please feel free to engage us. Maybe you don't bank with us and you prefer dealing with your financial institution. Absolutely. At least go see someone. Get a second opinion. Get assistance in finding ways to effectively stay within your budget if you're having trouble doing so, or if you just have general questions. Know that we're always here for you. I have a bit of homework that I'm going to ask each of you to do. Now, you don't have to do it, but I think that if you don't do it, then the presentation today was a bit of a waste. I think that for this presentation to really be as effective as it could possibly be, it would be great if all of you could download some type of budgeting tool that you find that is effective for you or you like the format of. I want you to take that template and fill it in. I want you to put in your income. We talked about that. I want you to look at your bank statements, put in your income, look at your bank statements, put in your expenses, and then add goals and timelines for your goals. Once you've done that, book in an appointment to share your budget with an advisor. And when you do that, you're going to have done all the legwork, and we're going to have an effective appointment and ways to show you how you can reach your goals and how you can save more effectively. Because then you will have had an effective budget that you've built that works for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to present today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Jenny. I'm here for you. My colleague Alex Martins is here for you on campus at Lakehead University. And please, I know on campus, most people are still in not necessarily quarantine, but aren't coming out as much. But if you are in the Agora, pop by, say hi. If you're not, feel free to email us. I'll make sure that we post our email addresses on here today so that you can email us, and we can do virtual appointments over the computer as well. And that's pretty much it for me today. I'm going to send it back to Jenny. Thank you so much for allowing me to present today, Jenny.
Well, thank you so much. It's so wonderful when a community member or someone such as yourself that's in the university can share time, knowledge, and skills with our students. So thank you so much for your presentation. I know I personally took a lot away from it. And this is something that our students find can be a challenge at times. So I'm really thankful for your time and the relationship that you're building with the English Language Center. It's so important And once we're back in person, I know that our students will be popping in and needing bank accounts and advice
Yeah.
and support, and what a friendly connection that you've shared with us to get that started. So thank you so much, James.
Thank you so much, Jenny. And I look forward to our next one on cyber fraud that we're going to be doing together.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
Okay. Have a great day.